one of the advantages of a live event, just like one of the advantages for studying for a professional exam live, is having your butt in the seat and being forced to focus. This is a collaboration of Land and Everything Else podcast and BizTape. We both have some thoughts and opinions and wanted to share with the world. So the theme today, we're going to talk about conferences and the land space and the wealth management, financial planning space. I think it's an important conversation that needs to be had. So
yeah,
thanks, Brodrick, for having it with me.
Of course. I mean, if you're only listening to the audio podcast, you're missing the amazing attire we're in.
We are in Land and Everything Else jerseys that PodPony put together for our team. And so we're on a rooftop in Chicago with Land and Everything Else jerseys. It is really a pristine early fall day. Hard to get it wrong today.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting ready for the third season of the show.
The third season of the show.
Gotta bring it in. We're going to a baseball game at Wrigley. Have to have something to commemorate.
We do. So I'm pretty excited today. So what I wanted to talk about, definitely in the everything else category, is the idea of professional conferences. You know, professional conferences and events, you know, why we go to them, what we hope to get out of them, and some areas for improvement that I think could happen in the world around us. So I want to start with sharing, if you're a Land and Everything Else listener, and you want to know more about land markets, agriculture markets, alternative investing, there's a conference called the Land Expo, hosted by People's Company every year. Land Expo really is unique in the fact that it caters around land as an asset class and agriculture, commodities, real estate as an asset class too. So first of the year, it's really a great time.
When I went to it, it was the first event I went to with you. It was the first PodPony event I went to as well. That event changed my life. First off, when we went, it's in January, and it was the first time ever that they had a blizzard during the event in Des Moines, Iowa, which stunned me.
It was quite a blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my father-in-law up because it was just me at PodPony at the time, and no one knew really what I did. I said, so you do podcasting, but video? I said, I'm only 2 months into PodPony. I do nothing. There's nothing that we do yet. We're just starting this whole thing. Once he saw what we were doing on site, which again was besides the blizzard, it was a great event.
It was.
And got to meet a slew of amazing people, including Drew Bledsoe, who was the keynote speaker at the time. So I got to do that, which was really cool. Also, my father-in-law saw what I did. He said, you know, I know this guy who right now is a server at a restaurant in Omaha, but I think he's looking for some sort of job here. And that helped bring in Pete.
And then we got Pete.
And we got Pete
next year.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the quality went way up for everything. So, yeah, great event, great time, led to some great outcomes. But is that the only event you're going to?
It's not. I do stress that in the land ag space, it is a great event to go to. I think when we look at conferences and events, you know, I'm plugged in as a faculty member. We get invited to quite a few events, and I kind of put them in different baskets. You have association events, which would be sort of like-minded professionals, usually going for continuing ed, exposure to new concepts and events, networking, socialization, stuff like that. So in the association event world, you've got things like NAPFA, you've got things like the FPA, you've got things like NAFA. I don't really go to that one, but it's also a great one. And you have regional events and you have national events, right? So you've got NorCal is a huge financial plan association event. You've got the DFW one. I've been there. It's massive. You've got the Illinois one's pretty darn big too. And other chapters as well across the country. So you've got that regional. You have the same parallel in the CFA world. So you've got chartered financial analysts having that same regional exposure and national. And then you have custodial conferences, which I think have gotten bigger and bigger in the last 4 or 5 years. You've got BNY and Schwab. Those are very well attended, sold out quite often to those. Then I think in my world too, you've also got your, I would say, newer events, right? You've got Edge. And so what are some of those you've been to? Kind of the more formed in the last few years kind of things.
Edge, Future Proof are two really popular conferences in this space.
And I think they're popular. They don't follow the same recipe as an association or custodial conference. So they have slightly more emphasis on networking and more emphasis on how to market yourself as an advisor, maybe, and a little less emphasis on, why this association or why this custodian. So I think they have a little more flexibility there.
Oh, totally. If I'm a business owner, if I'm a financial advisor, and I'm listening to this podcast today, one question I get all the time is, what conferences should I be going to this year? Brodrick, you go to so many of them. What are the ones I need to be on the lookout for? My answer is always, it depends.
Yeah.
And so for you, what are a few things that make a great conference?
I think what makes a great conference is you want to learn new things that you haven't learned already. And that creates a bit of a conundrum, doesn't it? Because if I'm going to FPA National this year, which I am for a day, and then I'm hopping over to Schwab Impact, why they're scheduled at the same time remains a mystery to me. Maybe next year we can fix that. And then you're going to NAPFA's big annual, one of their big kind of national events, let's say in DC. The question becomes okay, how do these conferences keep things exciting and engaging with new schools of thought, speakers, different perspectives? And I think that can get a little tricky, especially by November, December, or the spring, when you're kind of all right, well, I've already heard about the big, beautiful bill 2 or 3 times. So I think how conferences can succeed, we always want to look at messaging that you can't get anywhere else, guests that you don't see anywhere else. I've been to some where they have ex-presidents, come and talk, and those messages can be quite motivational, and you're dealing with someone with, wisdom of centuries there. But I think a lot of it is in the speakers. I think there's a lot of that, the breakout sessions. I think you want a little novelty at the same time. You want solid tax advice, things like that, to make you better at what you do. When it comes to, Future Proof and Edge and those types of newer conferences, I think there is a bit of an emphasis on, networking and kind of speed dating, stuff like that. You don't see that at some of the other ones.
Yeah. And it feels like there's a new event every year. And I don't want to say everything feels rinse or repeat, but really finding what's your differentiating factor.
And articulating it. I think that the Financial Planning Association has struggled a little bit with the rise of custodial conferences and finding their articulated message.
Yep.
I think they're getting better at it. But there was definitely a year there in Columbus where you had a meaningful decrease in the national event, and a lot more advisors that maybe in the past would have gone there, going to where they custody assets and going to those events instead, or taking a look at some other of the newer kind of, the whole newer ones that have come up. I think finding your niche is really important in the conference world.
I was talking to one yesterday, and I'm not sure if this is all out there, but there's one that's coming out that's going to be just around advisor technology, specifically within AI.
Sure.
Do's, don'ts, and there's going to be tons of people there who are going to show up for that event, because it already does well enough for itself. But the fact that it's going to have that focus, from my experience, advisors geek out over technology and marketing.
Sure. T3 is a universally beloved event, and its entire theme and niche is marketing, right? So we go to is tech. So we go to 3T with the idea of what tech can I build into my practice? How can I be more efficient? How can I scale? How can I spend more time focusing on the deep conversations and less time on the mundane? Yeah. And I think that's why T3 as a conference has become so wildly sellout popular over the years, is it has a very clear, this is what we do here. So in the AI space, where AI is becoming has been a huge topic because it lets advisors scale away the mundane, right? So how can we do that better, safer, compliant-wise? And I think those conversations advisors genuinely get better at their practice with. So I can see there being a huge demand at that.
Now it's tough if you're a conference like T3 and your whole focus is around technology.
Yep.
You have to be innovative. You have to always be making sure that people leave feeling like I got 1 to 3 things that I didn't know. And if people don't feel that way, I'm not saying that that's something I'm hearing, but there's you want to be sure that people got something out of that they couldn't have found on YouTube.
Sure.
And that's tough.
Well, I think it's tough, but I also think one of the advantages of a live event, just like one of the advantages for studying for a professional exam live, is having your butt in the seat and being forced to focus.
Yeah.
You know, we're very scattered in this world. We constantly are working with clients. We have a lot of energy and enthusiasm coming our way. And I think that when you look at certain conferences, just being there can often be the difference between focusing and tuning in and just all of it going the wayside. That's, during COVID, the whole online conference idea, I would really struggle with that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're at a browser. Are you going to tune in for an hour? Or are you going to just kind of skim the highlights? I think those are concerns why the online conference space didn't really catch on.
Well, to your point about being locked in when you're sitting in your seat, you don't love bees. And then that last response, a bee was just hovering all around you, and you stayed locked into the moment. Right now, you did not waver from answering your question.
I know
that
bees
was a pro move.
I know bees are pollinators, but I don't like things that fly and can sting me as a general rule.
I wondered if you were going to stop, say, hold on, there's a bee, and you just sat here locked in because you were physically here, you were in your seat.
We'll share a story to our friends who are still tuning into the podcast. Post-college Craig was on a porch in Central Texas with a girl I was dating at the time, a lot of her friends and family. And we're sitting around this porch and literally rocking chairs, and the granddad comes with homemade blueberry wine, which we don't need much of that to have a good afternoon, I'll just say.
Not
and
evening
so
and afternoon.
He's literally wearing suspenders and boots, and he's pouring the blueberry wine out to everybody. And we are amidst a blueberry orchard, believe it or not, in Central Texas. It's no longer there, but at the time. And this red wasp lands right on my chest, okay? And I have a T-shirt on. It lands right on my chest, and everyone's like, if you don't move, it'll fly away. So I look down at the thing, and it stings me. And I see it sting me, and it goes right through my T-shirt and gets me right in the sternum, and then it flies away. And from that moment forward, no, I don't believe if you sit still, they're going to leave you alone. And I think they're all monsters. So
their vision is based on movement.
That was my takeaway. They were like, just leave it alone, it won't get you. And then, boom. Now, the lucky part, enough blueberry wine, the wasp sting really kind of doesn't hurt that bad. But
doesn't hurt that bad.
You watch it happen, and you're like, all of you are monsters, the Central Texas monsters. Like, why are you doing this to me?
So people told you.
So I still like blueberries, but the wasps took a fall on that. So
there's
my little
advice.
Side conversation in our conference talk.
You got some bad advice.
I'm not sure it was bad advice. It could have just been a jerk. The wasp could have just been a jerk.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't like me. What if Granddad didn't like me? Sent it out on a mission? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, you could have done something.
But I had a giant welt center of my chest, and I was
like,
it
was in Central Texas.
Everybody's laughing. I was laughing too.
I'm
laughing in pain. You got to laugh at that. You can't not. Also, everyone's drunk. But it just was a great day.
Bugs are bigger in Texas.
I don't know. I think I would actually redo the day, because later the granddad's wife got chased by a goose. We all kind of got to watch that.
Oh my gosh.
So
blueberry wine,
geese, wasps.
What a day.
Look, you got a little. If you're still listening, you got that extra story.
Yeah.
How about that?
No, I've never been stung by a bee.
No?
Never once.
No, yeah, it's a journey.
It'll happen probably.
I mean, don't move if it lands on you, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know. I probably would freeze and just hope for the best.
No, it looks you dead in the eyes and it stings you.
It was intentional. You should take it personal.
No, I looked right at it, looked right at me, it stung me, flew away.
Since you've been to so many events, do you have some conference, like, things to not do? Because, look, when you look online, 3 things to do before every conference. The first thing, hydrate. The second thing, don't overly maximize your time.
Really?
Make sure you stay home. Like these are the things that everyone says, like, take some time. That you see it. A lot of these conferences have quiet zones, which I always think is funny.
Here's the takeaway. Every time I've been around bad behavior at an event, it's because people had too much to drink. And 100% of the time, when I've seen situations where men are awful monsters and harass young women and you have to get involved, especially as a faculty member, there's alcohol before that happens. When there's people that are literally flippant or kind of fire off comments here and there, rude to the staff, a lot of the time that sort of thing happens at a cocktail or happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm not a teetotaler, right? But when we take students to an event, we tell them you can have 2 drinks at this event and that's it. And I hold myself to that bar too, especially in my 40s. I've been very good about that.
Yeah.
And I think, there is a problem with ego, alcohol, and money. And when you mix those 3 things, I don't care if it's a conference, I don't care if it's dinner, you wind up getting some behavior that I think is just repugnant sometimes. And that, to me, is the first thing about a conference. Like, don't get loaded. Don't get wasted. It's not the place for that. And when that sort of thing happens or after parties happen and tequila's flowing, like, you inevitably are going to have some really possibly career-ending outcomes for people.
Yeah.
And, I think that's my big no-no at a conference. Number 1 is that. I think number 2, the big no-no at a conference, I think senior advisors who are paying for it themselves to be there, they'll take it seriously. They go to the events they want to go to. They don't go to the events they don't want to go to, right? They're paying the bill. But if you're an associate or you're staff or you're a younger advisor or you don't own that firm, go to as many events as you can learn from. Even if it's like a 6 out of 10 on your schedule, you should probably still attend. So under attendance is kind of one of those things, right? Unless you're calling the shots, probably the person paying for you to be there wants you to go. And too much alcohol consumption. And then I think the third thing, which is a little of the conference organizers too, don't expect people to show up at 8 a.m. the last day. Like, I think you see that sometimes. Like, we really want to get this extra person in, but by day 3 of a conference, or you've got too many events at 8 or 9, and they're low attendance. I don't think that should shock anybody.
No.
People are worn out. Some people are going home on the last day early. Let's move our keynote and good stuff to days 1 and 2 off of day 3, and I think you see that a lot. Those are kind of my 3 things that. Someone else is writing the check. They really expect you to be there and go. And I've seen young advisors get in an awful lot of trouble over skipping things here and there.
Yep.
And then the alcohol issue is really something worth diving into.
Oh, I've seen guys, gals, it doesn't matter. Alcohol makes you stupid, and you can do some really dumb things at these events, and I get it. People are out there. Lots of these events, you're reconnecting with old friends. You want to have a good time. I understand, but the whole drink responsibly thing, it goes a long way. One of the first pieces of advice I was given at a conference when going all into my business, I was out one evening just networking, and I think I was out till 3 or 4 a.m.
Oof.
And I remember leaving just being so dead tired. And I don't drink. Right. So I'm just sober, just exhausted through the whole thing. And I was talking with this guy and said, so y'all do this. This is like a nightly thing. You marathon through these events, networking, drinking, and just hanging out the whole time and meeting with people. I said, well, that's the business. If you really want to make it here, you're going to miss baseball practices, recitals, birthdays, and you're going to be out marathoning and networking and connecting with people because you can't afford to miss a conversation. And early on I said, all right, let's see how far I go without doing those things.
Right.
So anyways, thank you so much for working with PodPony, because you're the only client we have. We haven't succeeded at all. No, you can actually do well and not do any of those things. For me, I knew the next morning I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to have a coherent conversation. No. Not by day 3, by day 2, if I pull evenings like that.
And I mean, if you have to pull evenings like that, there are times where you do, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. I've been into, a young advisor trying to get with a senior firm, trying to change companies. You're trying to network. You're trying to land capital coming in your investment.
Yep. Sometimes
you got to stay up till midnight or 1 or 2, right? Like, that's just something you got to do. But, like liquid IV and power through in the morning. But I just think overall we run into that a lot. And, you know, I've been on plenty of panels and conversations around behavior because our industry, much like other industries that are male dominated, you inevitably have, you know, I think harassment, and you have some pretty awful things happening to young women at these events, and you have people taking advantage of that. It's been there since the 90s. It's still there today, 30 years later. We still have the same shit happening at events and conferences that we did when I was in college, right? Like, it's not getting better all the time. So, you know, I think there's still room to grow in the wealth management conference space.
Yeah.
A little bit of room left to get better.
One thing I really liked about Future Proof Citywide this last year, they had the All-American Rejects perform.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and right after, and this was just such a good move on their end, right after the concert ended, they had everyone escorted out of the venue to make sure, like, we know we're on South Beach. You can do whatever you want. You just can't do it here.
You can't do it here. Yeah, that's true.
And that's something I hadn't seen where, yeah, a lot of the happy hours, of course, they're hosting it there. They knew, well, if you decide to do whatever it is you're going to do, you can't do it here. But the truth is with that as well, there's a lot of advisors that they're not from South Beach, Miami. And when they leave the venue,
right,
if they do stupid things with people from South Beach, some people did get beat up.
Well,
not just at that event, but I've seen that where if you're in the wrong part of LA or whatever.
Well, I think there's a smartness that goes into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
know where you are.
I was in, one of the big national FPA events. I remember having to walk to the hotel to the party at the end.
Yep.
And because I'd missed the bus because I had a class to teach.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, possibly the most sketch walk of my life. It was like 3 blocks in Phoenix. Maybe it was 5 blocks. It was a while. And there's a little bit in there. I'm like, this guy's like, there's a guy on a bike. He keeps following me. Like, this is going to end bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think just, you know, having heads up and using Uber would have saved me a lot of trouble there. Just being smart about it.
At Citywide last year, it was in March. And so I had gone November through probably February of not really seeing the sun. So when I went to Citywide, after day one, I was red. I was a lobster. And then flying home from that event.
That felt great, I bet.
Well, one, it felt great. But two, there was a big storm in the Midwest.
Oh, it's a good time.
So it's Wednesday. They drop, instead of Omaha, they drop Pete and I off in Denver and say, we rescheduled your flight for Saturday. Have fun in Denver for a few days.
All right.
Couldn't get home.
Let's go.
So
Let's
I'm
go
just
see that
bright
bear
red.
at the convention center.
Yeah, bright red. And we went up into the mountains, had a nice little retreat in Estes as I'm just dying. People up there are like, how are you so...
You have an aloe bathtub. That's the key. That's the key to bad choices.
Yeah.
Well done. Sunscreen next time, buddy. Let's get some sunscreen.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think the last crazy thing I want to end on, I want to give this episode, this story, because it's insane. Know where you are. We were doing a client event in Florida. I don't know, probably a month or two ago. And I don't really go out. I don't really go partying. And this one event just reinstilled why you shouldn't. So I'm at there's a place in Naples, Florida called Seed to Table. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Have I told you this story yet?
No.
All right.
But I know of that type of restaurant.
All right. So I've been in 2 shootings in the last month.
Oh my God.
This was one of them.
Okay.
So in Naples, Seed to Table's there. It's this grocery store where this one farmer, I think it's like $9 billion in farming assets. He brings all of his own produce to this store. It's like Whole Foods, but it's all MAGA. So you walk in, it's the Donald Trump conservative grocery store. If you buy a steak, they'll cook it there for you. They have chefs everywhere.
All right.
They have a daycare, really nice in there. They have 2 to 3 different live music venues in the place. They have, when you walk in, there's paintings of Donald Trump and Jesus side by side, ushering in a new era. Right, that is this grocery store.
I can put it in my head.
On the second floor is a nightclub.
Sure.
Because why not?
Why not?
So at 9 o'clock, it's girls' night. It's ladies' night.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, all right, you're probably going to have a lot of Gen X and Boomer ladies show up to this event. Maybe like 50 of them. Not too many. Well, 9 o'clock rolls around. Again, we're doing dinner at this grocery store with 2 of our clients.
Sure.
Thinking it's going to be a quiet place for the evening.
No.
I'm not trying to get into anything crazy. 9 o'clock rolls around. There are a bunch of young people at this grocery store all ready to party.
Okay, let's
Because
go.
that's what you do, apparently. So 9 o'clock rolls around. Funnily enough, Pete, our videographer, dresses like a Gen Z.
Well done.
He knows how to dress. Goes out there. Someone that's Gen X in my group says, it's kind of a dorky way to dress. I said, oh, you wait.
Yep.
6'5" Pete goes out there. It's ladies' night. Everyone just head above shoulders. Everyone's
Pete's
just
doing
looking
fine.
at Pete. Yeah, Pete's doing fine for himself. However, one of Pete's things, when he goes to places, he leaves his phone, wallet, and keys on the table, goes.
Yeah.
No one's messed with his stuff.
Okay.
Halfway, I always watch it, nervous.
Sure.
Someone's going to take it. But whatever. No one messes with it. At this event, I don't know, it's 9:15. I'm ready to go. I grab his stuff. I walk over to Pete through the crowd of people talking to him. I give Pete his stuff. I said, all right, I'm going to leave. I'm there for a second as I'm making my way out of here. Pop, pop.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's scary.
The guy discharged his weapon.
Oh, God.
What happened was, now at the time, it doesn't look very good, and everyone's politically triggered because, well, it's where we are.
Sure.
This guy was dancing up on somebody, shot himself in the leg.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And the crowd turns, sees this guy, his fight or flight kicks in.
Sure.
So he tries to run.
Right.
Now, again,
he
we're
has
on this
a bloody leg.
Now,
Yeah.
now we're in Florida. People are a little bit more used to gunshots than other parts of the world. So they see this guy trying to run. They grab him and throw him down the flight of stairs. He gets to the bottom. They say, hey, he's got a gun.
Sure.
Everyone's thinking it's someone from the left trying to take
yeah.
out their grocery store. So they jump on him, beat him up, rough him up a little bit. Police kicks us out. So my point is with all of this, and it was just pandemonium after that. Once it reaches a certain point in the evening, I don't care what event you're at, anything could happen.
It's true.
Anything's possible. Especially if you're at the Donald Trump grocery store daycare nightclub.
You can't underestimate
You can't
the
you
sheer
can't
power of
underestimate
that grocery store.
No.
The sushi bar must be amazing.
Yeah, I learned. Yeah, by what I just said, I probably should have anticipated something was going to go down that night.
Well,
It did.
I'm glad everyone's okay. But
Yeah.
back to conferences for a hot second. I think the story there being just keep your head up. But I will say with events, watch the booze and, we can all treat each other a little better sometimes at the after party.
And if you're going to go, get something out of it.
Yep.
If you're really if you're there being paid to be there,
Yeah.
come back with 3 things.
3 things. I like it.
3 things that you can bring back to your firm, your business to make it better. It's going to make people happy that you weren't just by the pool the whole time.
I like it.
And maybe go to the Donald Trump.
And if a wasp lands on you, get out of the way.
And don't go to grocery stores past 10 o'clock.
All right. So all the lessons we've gotten today.
That's it.
All
That's
right.
it.
Well, thanks, Brodrick. It was fun.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.